Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, so the winter Arctic blast, or whatever it's called, is here. And also the price of rental property is about to skyrocket. By rental property, I mean for renters, not the actual property itself. So let's get into the Arctic blast first then, guys. So the Arctic blast is here. Everybody's talking about it on the media. You know, it's front page. UK braced for a cold snap as Arctic blast hits the United Kingdom. So, guys, just quickly before we talk about this, you know, we're supposed to be told about this global warming thing and the world's getting hotter, but did anyone in the UK have a good summer? Did we have a good summer, or did we get like 1, 2, maybe 3 days of nice weather and then the rest of it was just rubbish? You know, from my personal experience, and I don't know if, you know, you guys are concurring, but we literally had probably one of the worst summers we've ever had. And by worst, I mean worst for, you know, hot weather. It just seems like it's been a terrible summer this year. And we're led to believe that the world's hotter than it's ever been. Well, you know, we've got the Arctic blast now. I mean, what is this? Are we getting an Arctic blast, or are we having global warming? Because, you know, we need to choose one. We can't have both. So news is out that this week we're going to get hit by an Arctic blast, where temperatures are due to drop to around, are you sitting down? Get ready for it, 13 to 14 degrees Celsius. I mean, come on, is that really where we are in civilization? Is that cold now? Is that what we class as cold, 13 to 14? I thought that was still like, you know, going out in shorts and t-shirt weather. I don't know, maybe that's just me, shorts and t-shirt when it's 13 to 14. I thought when it drops below 10, that starts to be when you put a jumper on. And when it drops below 5, that's when you put your trousers on and your jacket. You know, I don't know. Anyway, what we're leading towards here, guys, right? I've warned of this so many times. If we have a cold winter this winter, you're going to see things like we've never seen before in this country. I think we're going to be reduced to like a third world country, where richer countries like Saudi Arabia might actually be sending us food parcels, you know, in the post. They might actually be sending us bottled water. We may actually have one of those, you know, a Red Cross building at the bottom of your local street, and they might be giving food parcels away, because we've got so many things coming to loggerheads this Christmas. It seems like now, imagine if you knew this was happening and what you wanted to do is create the most chaos possible in that country. It seems like we're having this done to us now. I always look at things holistically, and I try to spot things in the weeds, you know, spot things before they happen. And what I'm seeing is a mass catastrophe this winter. And it just seems we're heading that direction, you know. Winter fuel payments, low crop yields, war in Ukraine, energy prices, fuel prices, cost of living driving everything up, this new fuel tax that's going to be coming in. Obviously, I don't know what taxes are going to be coming in. We can only speculate. But from the last 2 days, what we can, what we can surmise is they're not going to back, you know, the government don't look like they're going to be backing down on any of these taxes. If anything, I think it's going to be a little bit worse than we're actually expecting. If that could be, you know, if we can imagine such a thing. So, you know, we've got this cold blast coming. People are talking about it. I think it's going to, no pun intended, I think it's going to blow over, and hopefully we'll get some milder weather. But, and it is a big but, I am going to keep warning people about what's coming this winter. You know, like I've just said, remember, guys, if we have a cold winter this year, it's going to be catastrophic. So just take whatever precautions you can now. In fact, shall I just swizzle off here? Sorry, guys. Guys, I always buy these things. Always buy these things. Gas canisters. You know, you can use them in loads of stuff. Right now, the price of these things is going up. So the price of those things is going up. I used to pay £4 for those. I think they're like £9 or £10 now, depending on where you shop. Obviously, if you see them cheaper, you know, always buy things like that. You know, for me, they're a really good storage of value. The price is going up. The cost of gas is going up. So, you know, if you're going to use them, that's like a speculative investment, because you're going to use it. The price of it's going up. and it's useful. Energy is always useful. Being able to store energy in your house is always useful, guys. Anyway, so that's just a little bit of an, a little bit of an insight into that and what you can do to help yourself. Again, not everybody's in that situation, but whatever situation you're in, just look to this winter and think, right, okay, if this is a really bad winter for like 2, 3, 4, 5 months or whatever, are you sufficiently prepared? Have you got enough warm kit, jumpers, blankets, electric bang blankets? They're really good. All these sort of things that will help. And try and get them now before everybody's rushing out to get them. Because if you get them now, you're not going to be in that rat race. And once you're in that rat race, guys, people do it. They just put their prices up. Unscrupulous, salespeople. I remember when there was the... what was it? The hand wash. Yeah, remember the hand wash? And you got people in corner shops putting this up to like £5 a thing or whatever. It was ridiculous. People will price gouge. So right now, if you're ahead of the curve, if you know what's coming, if you can see all these calamities coming to a loggerheads in potentially winter, you can sort things out now so you're not affected as much. Guys, I've got loads of those gas things. I buy them on a weekly basis and I just store them. Now that's like an energy storage for me, so we can have that burning, we can cook, we can heat on them, we can do all sorts if we need them. If not, that's like a fiver a week or whatever I spend on them, and we just put that away and we just save that. Anyway, so what's the next thing? Housing prices. Housing prices are due to rocket, guys. Okay. So the what's her name? Angela Rayner. She's put well, let me read it. In fact, I'll share it with you actually. Hang on. Landlords warn they may raise rents in response to Labour's Renters' Rights Bill. Private rental sector reforms could lead to Airbnb light, says Landlords Association before plan unveiled in Parliament. So what it's looking like is going to happen is they're going to release a bill or legislation or something that would make it so that landlords can, and again, I'm speculating now, it's not been released, but this is what they're saying could happen. So if landlords can only raise their rent once per year, what are they going to do? They're going to raise it to protect themselves, because don't forget, interest rates can change. Banks can ask for more money as per the Bank of England base rate. So if you're a landlord and you've got, and again, I know we shouldn't be, but let me come back to this. So if you're a landlord and you've got X amount of rental properties, you may be, some of those houses may be financed. And if your costs go up, you have to deal with that. So you have to take that on the chin. Now, if you're running a tight margin anyway, and when your costs go up, you're going to go bust. So you have to raise your, your rental income. Now, what will happen is, rather than landlords saying, oh yeah, the Bank of England have not raised their base rate this year, I'm not going to raise I'm not going to raise my rental. They won't have that ability, because the Bank of England can raise their taxes at any time. So what that will do is it will leave people who are in the landlords, it will leave them out of pocket. And by out of pocket, a lot of these people don't run with massive profit margins. A friend of mine, they have one house and they've not, they rent it out. It's a relative died, they got the house, and they rent it out now. They've not lifted that rent for ever. I don't think. I still think they're paying 90s prices, and they just say, look, I'm not going to lift that rent. I'm getting money. They're happy where they live, and everything's fine. Now, the problem is, those type of people will be the ones hit hardest, because they'll be the people who are just doing it to try and keep that house in the family. They're doing it to just try and keep things ticking over. They're not making vast amounts of money, but they've got another property. Now, the people who will be, raking it in here will be the large, consortiums of property management companies. So what I think this is going to do is it's going to force smaller people out of that private rental market. Private rental, I mean private landlords. It's going to force people out of being private landlords. It's going to force people out of that market. And when you force people out of that market, then the government will have to step in. And again, guys, I only see this as another method of control, because once the government starts supplying you with housing, supplying you with money because there's no jobs, you literally are a slave. And on yesterday's live stream, I was talking about how I feel we're slaves. And I said, look, a slave or someone in prison, they get the minimum amount of food. They sometimes get the heating turned on. They've got 4 walls and a bed. How many people are in that situation right now? But we pretend we're not slaves, and a lot of people, I feel, are slaves, and we're just enslaving ourselves more. So what I feel, this, what do they call it? Landlords Reform Bill or something, private rental sector reforms. So what I feel these private rental sector reforms are, it's just another way to control people. It's just another way to destroy an independent generation of finances. And once you destroy all independent processes that people can provide their own financing, and then you get more people looking to the government for handouts, that's when you get more control of the government. But why, guys? I've been going down this road on why. And the conclusion I came to is absolutely terrifying. I have alluded to it in a few of my other videos, but I'm not going to go on to it here, guys, because I'm still doing a little bit of research on it, and I want to try and find out where this is ending, because to me it doesn't seem like this is going to end anywhere good. Can you imagine a situation where nobody can afford to put their heating on, nobody can afford anywhere to live, private, small businesses have all collapsed because of the tax rises. People are struggling on benefits. We are just creating a slave nation. And nowhere in the entire existence of humanity has any civilization been taxed into prosperity. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That was the jokes of the video. This winter blast's coming, winter Arctic blast or whatever they're calling it. That's coming. Temperatures are going to plummet. I don't know about the timing of this, and I think a lot of this was headline grabbing because of the winter fuel payment. But it is coming, and temperatures are going to drop, and you'll see that consecutively. If we have a cold winter this year, it's going to be a catastrophe. Also, the rental prices, guys, if you're in private rented now, expect those private rentals to go up consecutively year on year, and they will go up exponentially when landlords try and protect themselves. Now, guys, that's not landlords trying to price gouge. That's landlords trying to protect themselves from the government's bank raises. Because if the Bank of England raise their interest rate too high, then that landlord is going to be paying for you. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking, I don't care. The landlord's got a house. He's in a better situation, or she is in a better situation than me. That may be the case for a lot of people, but also what comes after that is a lot worse. Then you'll be in a government house. Then you'll be subject to the state, to whatever the state says. And we're only one step away from crypto pound, digital currencies, face scanning everywhere you go in. We see this when if you've got kids, they do the thumb thing now on the when they pay for their dinners. This is all coming in line, guys. Anyway, so that was the jokes of the video. I'm going back to grid, and I'll try and get you another video later.